The holiday reviews are almost coming to a close, and I have but two more films to talk about. One of those films I'm going to be talking about right now is Friday After Next, starring Ice Cube, Mark Epps, John Witherspoon, and Terry Crews. Now, this is a film that is the third installment of the Friday trilogy. There was two other films called Friday and Next Friday, and the only reason why I'm touching on the third one is because Friday After Next is a holiday comedy. Is it a good comedy? No. Is it terrible? Is it one of the films that I consider to be a complete utter disaster? Surprisingly, not really. There were actually some fun moments. There were some characters who I was surprised did pretty well and actually have done their part good where I actually want to see them on screen. The ending climax was pretty good. But that's pretty much it. A lot of the stuff I really didn't care for in this movie. And that was largely because, A, it's pretty much rehashing what the other two have done. And I know they didn't do it worse than the second one. This one didn't do any better either. I might as well give you a little bit of a brief synopsis of what happened here. You have the characters Craig and Day Day living together, sharing the apartment, when the apartment got robbed by a Santa Claus bandit. He woke up Craig. Craig ended up fighting him one on one, but he ended up losing the fight because his cousin didn't wake up. This ends up being bad for them because the robbers stole their rent money, and now they have no way to paying the landlady the rent. Landlady don't want to hear that. She said he had to come up with the rent money or he's throwing them out. And to insult the injury, he was going to send her ex-convict son, which is played by Terry Crews, who just got out of prison, to pay them a visit. And it's not the visit that they want from them, considering he is a homosexual. So we already got that situation well in hand, and this is something that many people had a little mixed feelings on in the way they presented in that scene. So right now they're in a situation. They're in a very dire situation. They have to find out where they're gonna get the money, and the first thing they do is get jobs as a top flight security guard. While doing that, they end up meeting some unique characters. They're meeting their new boss. They're meeting some their neighbors, Donna, and Money Mike, which is played by Kate Williams, which became important part of this film. They also begin to interact with their fathers, who actually runs a barbecue restaurant called Brothers BBQ. And pretty much we begin to meet everything else. We begin to establish all this right off the bat. As for their jobs concerned, not going very well. Mark Epps' character, Day Day, he is he's abusing his powers, abusing the whistle, basically harassing church-going ladies, who later on retaliated by basically sending their sons after them. They end up chasing them, which resulting of them beating up on their owner, was wondering why they didn't came to help him, and that results in them losing jobs, which by the way they didn't want anyway. And in all fairness, the guy was a total idiot and a total douchebag, because he ran a restaurant that had the worst violations ever. And they got back at that when they called the inspectors about the situation. So they're still without no money, so they decided to hold the one solution they had left was to hold a rent party, which they did. They paid in the gate, and that's how they raised their funds for this movie. While at the same time we're getting antics between Damien, played very well by Terrence Crew, who is pretty much arrested him, pretty much let him know what's in store with them if they don't pay up. We got the situation where Damien is pretty much, trying to protect himself by putting himself like his homemade body armor because of what has happened to him in prison. We got the situation with Damien actually not feeling comfortable with a lot of ladies. He's not feeling the ladies, but actually has his eyes on Money Mike, which lead to the probably most craziest scene in the film, and probably one of the craziest resolved endings in this movie thus far. We have the situation where Ice Cube is talking to Donna. We also have a situation where the landlady is hitting on Ice Cube's father. We also have the situation, the climax, where they finally caught up with the guy who robbed them and having a climactic chase down their neighborhood in order to get their stuff back. So we have all this stuff happening in one day. And this is where the problem lies. This film doesn't have a very strong focus, other than the fact they need to get their rent money. But I never really felt there was any urgency at all in this film. And that's a kind of shame, because with the very first one, there was a sense of urgency. Their life was on the line in the first one. And that because Chris Tucker, as you all know, have messed up and smoked away his boss's money on when he was supposed to sell drugs and keep the money there, give the money back to him. So that alone, there was a sense of urgency. I never felt their sense of urgency in this film because it didn't really, they didn't play it as such. There was no real strong build-up to this urgency. Another thing is the comedy was just flat in a lot of areas. What worked, I will say this, what worked though was Terry Crews' performance in this film, because he played it over the top and beyond, but he did it so well that you actually wanted to see more of him on screen. And Damien's character is pretty much the replacement of D'Lo's character, which was played by Sonny Zeus Lester, who I actually liked in the first film. Didn't care too much about him in the second film because he was just rehashing the same thing. But with Damien's character, he was over the top, but Terry played it well. He played it good to the point where I was laughing for some of the stuff he was doing. And even some of the stuff that was very uncomfortable, I actually enjoyed it. The other new characters, Kate Williams' character, I didn't really care too much about him. Didn't even care for Donna that much. Mark Epps, he was better. I will say that. He wasn't great, but he wasn't awful like the last one. I did not like him at all. I understand that he was put in a position because Chris Tucker did not return. And I know a lot of people would say if Chris Tucker was here, would he have done a better job? Honestly, even if Chris Tucker was in this film, I don't think he could have been much difference because the script is not a strong script. It's a very weak script that relies a lot on comedy than anything else. And this is the thing, the comedy, I just wasn't laughing at a lot of stuff that was going on. There was a lot of misses in this film. But like I said, the one character, Damien, really did carry the film. And surprisingly enough, that one last action scene in the last act of the film was really surprisingly very good. I actually enjoy it because you did have some fun moments in that one scene that I actually enjoyed. It was actually kind of fun, especially how the criminal managed to get caught, or he kept his eye on the ball because he was dancing, and actually he got hit by a limo. So that was pretty much a fun. That was kind of hilarious because what led to that whole chase, it looked like he was finally going to get away, and then boom, that happened. So I actually did enjoy that. But other than that, just a few good moments isn't going to cover the other 65-70 minutes of this film, which was just basically you know, sub stories and just, you know, padding, just leading down to that, to those scenes, and that's the whole thing I did not really particularly care for. I didn't really care for this film too much, other than the fact is there was some good, fun, decent moments, and nothing else. Is it the worst of the Fridays? I think this all depends on who you talk to. I think many people will consider this one to be the worst of the three Fridays. I still think that next Friday was not my cup of tea. I barely laughed at that one. I really did. At least with this one, I had some fun moments. That I had a good chuckle. Had a good. Some of the scenes that was is in next Friday brought a smile on my face. But if you ask me, they should have left it alone with two. I didn't think they needed to make a three. It was no need for it to be there. But for the most part, they did make what good to what they got, and for the most part, I actually enjoyed it for, if anything else, for a good popcorn, good chuckle. Um, and to be honest with you, that's all I asked for. I didn't ask for anything else. It's just please don't waste my time. And I didn't feel like I wasted my time, but I felt like they could have done a much better job with this film. So, scale of 1 to 4, this film gets 2. Um, Other than that, I know why people say it doesn't have a holiday feel to it. Why are you bothering? Well, because I said before, and I said this again, a lot of films that I cover sometimes don't have that holiday theme that everybody expects. This is a film that happens to be um, on Christmas time. But is it an actual Christmas film like a Christmas Carol? No, but it is. It is a film that was filmed at Christmas time. It is a film that was released in November, and I'm going to talk about it. In all, that's pretty much it. What do you guys think about this film? Did you like it? Didn't like it? What is your favorite moment in any of the Friday series? I'd like to know. But until then, this is J77 saying take care, be safe. I'll talk to you soon.